A sense of place, a sense of self, a sense of time. Tsunamis, seagulls and signals. Where else but Barley Cove? A place I'm drawn to. I have many childhood memories of spending summers by the seaside, eating sandy sandwiches and walking for what seemed like miles along pink and orange speckled hedgerows. Those roads are still the ones as an adult that I return to, now with my own daughter. Every summer we set off together on a getaway to Schull, Goleen or Barley Cove. My sat-nav is our guide. Getting lost, I have a knack for that. Ask the sat-nav. Between the two of us, I'll end up in a quarry in the middle of a farm or passing sheep as we end up halfway up a mountain. We set off each day, one day to Sullivan's pub in Crookhaven, where we enjoy the scent of the sea over scones, cream and jam at 11 a.m. Seagulls eyeing us up. They face no chance with the kind and curly-haired girl who shouts, "Shoo away, seagulls." We find a nice postcard there and Love Dove pops it in the tiny postbox that usually arrives to its destination a day after we come home. It's a delight to beat the postcard home and greet the postman, card in hand. Another day to Mizzen Lighthouse, a place of great wildness and beauty. And once upon a time, a beacon of safety to those in choppy waters, and a signal station. My family have always been my shining light in times of fog, guiding and coaxing me back to the shore. I am fortunate to have their support and guidance, radio waves that come in times of crisis. Among them, a myriad of different personalities with differing experiences and perspectives, each of whom add a richness to my life. Threads woven together to form the fabric of my life. The kindness of strangers also, shouting from the sidelines. When I found myself on a chessboard of moving pieces, a game sea-deep in strategy, the rules of which I did not understand. They helped me out of checkmate and made me the captain of my own life. Home is where the heart is. I'm a country mouse, although my day-to-day life has always revolved around a very small radius in the city. School, college and work were a stone's throw from one another. Growing up, my second home was with my grandparents in Glasheen. My grandmother was a dog lover, and I spent most of my time with her and her team of dogs, walking up and down to St. Finbarr's Cemetery nearby here. Each time we stopped by her family's graveside, where she would bow her head and recount stories about each one of them, as if they'd happened yesterday. As we walked on, each neighbour and friend's headstone we passed had a life story. The people were real to me as I learned the highs and lows of their lives. A place of hidden histories. Being pulled furiously by Sam, Susie and Toby Dog through the Celestial Tree thoroughfare. Both of us small in stature and out of breath. She warned me about Trixies, people who were not honest, to save my own money and never be reliant on a man. When she wasn't out walking, she was nestled in her kitchen with the sewing machine on the table. Neighbours would drop in their clothes for her, and she would spend many a late night unpicking seams and sewing in the semi-light. Her own father had been a tailor in Mallow, and his father too. I remember her saying to me politely about clothes that were too tight, that they were quote-unquote a bit tidy, which always made me smile. At the time, I didn't expect I would find myself following in her footsteps, a yearning to learn how to sew set in after she was gone. Regrets that I had not had the interest while she was here. And so I think of her when I sit at my own sewing machine, spending many an hour cutting patterns, pinning and sewing, just as she did. During my college years, I ventured abroad for a year to study Italian, where I lived carefree, cycling here, there and everywhere, learning that lattes were only for breakfast and that pineapples had no place on a pizza. I became to love the people and the culture, the pizzazz of the people, a hand gesture for every imaginable thought. As of now, my life is at a changing point. Sailing away from worrying times, grateful for guidance, facing many fears, sometimes by choice, others out of necessity. Forcing ourselves outside of our comfort zone is a humbling experience. They say life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So that's where I hope you join me. To end on a sea shanty. Hold fast, tides are turning, flames roar, fires are burning. We'll all be returning if we sail together. We shall sail together.